Let's get started. My name is Abhishek Agarwal. I'm the principal PM lead on the Office 365 ATP product. With me is my colleague Ross Adams, a principal PM on the ATP product as well. The agenda for today's talk, it's a short 45-minute talk, but we'll cover two key takeaways. We'll show you what modern phishing attacks look like, and we'll show you how you can use Office 365 ATP to secure your organizations against those attacks. Before we get started, quick show of hands. How many in the room are already using Office 365 ATP? All right, very good. How many of you are evaluating or in the process of migrating to Office 365 ATP? All right, handful. OK, so hopefully we'll show you enough value that will help you close the decision of migrating to Office 365 ATP. So you heard Satya in the keynote yesterday. You would probably also have attended some of the security sessions from yesterday and today. This is the reality of modern business. As you go through your digital transformations, your digital estates are increasing, and so is the attack surface that you need to secure. The attacks are getting increasingly sophisticated, and the solutions and the products, the security products of the past, are too siloed and are not able to keep pace with these modern attacks. With Microsoft Threat Protection, we are bringing a comprehensive set of solutions that are intelligent, integrated, and automated, and help you secure your digital estate, be it your identities, your endpoints, your user data, your cloud applications, and your infrastructure. For the context of this talk, of course, you're focusing on user data, your emails and your documents that come through email into your organization. And of course, Office 365 Advanced Threat Protection, along with Exchange Online Protection and our partnerships with Windows and Azure, help secure these emails and apps and data inside your organizations. One of the attack vectors that we have been tracking for the last couple of years is phishing, and phishing has continued to be in prominence even in 2018. Here are some statistics that we have tracked for 2018. So business email compromise, that's a vector that FBI tracks, and it has accounted for over $12 billion of economic loss globally since 2013. Just within Office 365, we have observed over 8 million attempts of business email compromise in 2018. Across the service, we have blocked over 5 billion phishing mails and suspicious mails, analyzed over 300,000 different phishing campaigns. And once a phishing campaign comes into your organization, what we observe is that 20% of the clicks happen within the first 5 minutes. So it's a very fast, once the phishing campaign is inside your organization, it's a very fast turnaround. We're also seeing some evolution in the way these attacks are being constructed. The attacks are getting increasingly polymorphic. So they don't use just a single URL or a single domain or a single IP that the mail comes from. They will use a varied infrastructure from which a campaign is constructed. The campaigns also have variety in the way they are delivered. They will be very short span attacks, so they come in and they go in a matter of half an hour. Or there might be serial variants where there's a low volume attack that happens on day one, followed by another low volume attack on day two, and so on and so forth. And we're also seeing a trend towards attackers using hosted infrastructure, other public cloud infrastructures, which allows them to hide among the good and then avoid detections as a process. So what has been Office 365 ATP doing over the last year? So as we mentioned, we run at a very large scale, and we have lots of signals that we get from our partners across Office, Windows, and Azure. And this results in a scale that we operate at which nobody else can match. For example, Office 365 is the largest commercial email service on the planet. Office 365 ATP protects 3 times more mailboxes than any other competitive solution. In 2018, 4 million unique mailboxes and users were protected against an advanced threat. And safe links and safe attachments, these are our advanced sandboxing capabilities, observed over 7 billion URLs that were protected and over 11 billion detonations. The point of this is to demonstrate the scale at which we run the service, and this scale results in 2 things. We see things before anybody else sees us, and we see it at a scale that nobody else sees it. So this enables us to generate that intelligence, generate that signal faster and before anybody else sees that. But you don't have to just take our word for it. There's a follow-up session that my colleague Jason and team will do at 2:15. We'll go into a little bit more depth of ATP. And we'll also hear what a customer's perspective is on ATP, what an analyst's perspective is on ATP, and we'll also share how we stack up against other competitive solutions in the market. So let's kind of get into what a modern phishing kill chain looks like. So you would have seen this slide in the context of other security tracks as well. Every attack starts with the attacker doing a recon on your organization, then going ahead and constructing an attack, sending an attack into your organization, exploiting the payload, finding a foothold into your organization, doing a lateral movement, building some persistence, and then eventually getting to whatever they were after and exfiltrating that data or critical information out. In the context of this talk, we'll focus on two attack types that's relevant today for you: a credential harvesting attack and a business email compromise attack. So let's kind of get into what are these different steps that an attacker typically goes through to essentially understand what your organization looks like. So typical steps will involve doing some harvesting of emails. They need to understand, eventually, if they have to deliver a piece of email into your organization, they need to have an address book to get started with. Today, with social media, there's lots of public information that's already available. It could be available on social media. It could be available on your marketing websites, where you would share information about your organization. There's a ton of information that you already leak, quote unquote, through your DNS information. So DNS records are public. There's a ton of information that's already available. Where does your MX point to? What email service provider are you using? What authentication services are you using? You can also glean what kind of SaaS apps your organization is using. Pair that with what is your organization structure? Who is your CFO? Who is your CFO, etc. So what the attacker is doing essentially is piecing together all this information so that they can build an insight into how to then eventually launch an attack into your organization. Then comes the phase where they will actually construct the attack and deliver it into your organization. When it comes to credential harvesting, there's kind of three techniques attackers use. Not all of them are email-based. They might start with a password spray attack. And if you were to attend our identity-based solutions, we'll show you how you can detect and prevent password spray attacks. They might use an already leaked credential. So a lot of data breaches have already happened. And it so happens that your employees and end users end up sharing the same username, password from a service that might not be inside your organization as they do on your corporate email. And finally, of course, they construct a phishing email. So how many of you have seen a phishing email like this inside your organization? Yes, a few show of hands. So what's the structure of this email? Typically, the attacker has spoofed a domain. myoffice.com is a spoof domain. It probably doesn't have a good SPF record setup. Then there's a brand impersonation. So they've taken a popular brand, in this case, Microsoft. But there are other brands like DocuSign, Dropbox, etc., where they'll try to get the user to click on to believe that this is a legitimate mail. Of course, there's a piece of malicious link inside the mail. Now, for example, these attacks are not only being used by commodity credential harvesters, they're also being used by organized crime. And in this case, what this last graphic shows is last month, in the month of August, our threat intel team blocked a set of domains that were associated with the political campaign attack here in the US. And then what these domains are used for is to host a fake credential harvesting site. So in this case, it's a site that is asking for all the possible combinations of different services. But the most typical attack you would see inside Office 365 is somebody is spoofing an Azure Active Directory login page on an Office 365 login page. So essentially, once this page is shown up in front of the user, as I mentioned, 20% of the times clicks are happening in the first 5 minutes. The end user ends up entering the credential, and the attacker has access to your credential. In the case of business email compromise, the attack is slightly different. The attacker is going after a very targeted personality, typically a CEO, CFO, but it also could be a regional finance director or somebody working in a regional office. The attack would involve, for example, starting spoofing of your own domain, so your own organizational domain, or a partner domain that you typically do business with. It would involve doing user impersonation. In this case, this was a real mail that we saw inside Microsoft. So somebody was impersonating our CEO and was trying to get into our organization. These mails typically have no payload. So there is no malicious link or there's no attachment that you go after. So these are very short text emails, typically trying to avoid detections from other filters. And there's a very urgent or a very small targeted ask in this mail. Typically, they will ask for some financial information. In this case, they're asking for some wire transfer information. They'll ask for W-2s, etc. Now, imagine your CFO or whoever this person is running around is in a very busy state. So they don't have time to understand if this email is legitimate. They might read the they might read the email on a phone and end up replying. At that point, the attacker has established a relationship with somebody important, and can seek critical information out of the organization. The next phase, of course, is to do lateral movement. So now if the attacker has access to the credentials, they will do the following activities. They can send internal phish back into other users. This is a vector that we are increasingly seeing. If they got access to an admin credential, they might set up new accounts. They might set up forwarding rules, and then exfiltrate data out of your organization. So with Office 365 Advanced Threat Protection, we have taken a deep look at all of these different attack vectors and try to make sure that we have coverage across this entire life cycle. So the key thing that we want to highlight over here is the way we are doing this is different from the way we do it, the way others do it. And this all goes back to the intelligence and the scale signal that we have in the service. So domain spoof protection, for example. We, of course, do standards-based check. But over the last year, we've also added implicit intelligent domain spoofing detection technology that detects anomalies in ways that a domain is constructed and be able to detect that. We have done tons of enhancements in our detonation technologies, both in terms of attachment, in terms of link detonation, in terms of ability to do detonation of links within attachments. We have brought in user impersonation capabilities to detect both user impersonation, domain impersonation, and brand impersonation. And again, we do it in a manner that is differentiated by using mailbox intelligence in the backend. And of course, we have released internal safe links to detect internal compromise lateral. And you heard yesterday that this week we are also announcing passwordless capabilities with Azure Active Directory to be able to further mitigate against phishing attacks. This is a list of features that we have just released in the last 12 months. So if you combine the velocity of features we are adding in ATP with the scale at which we operate, this enables us to offer really advanced protection for your organizations. So with that, let me hand it over to Ross to actually give you a deep dive demo into these products and show you how you can enable these capabilities inside your organization.
Thanks, Abhishek. So I'm just going to walk you through here. Basically, I'm going to start from the beginning, setting up ATP, and we'll just point out where the various settings come from and how we can use that in order to protect against these sorts of attacks. So I'm just going to start here within the Admin Center. I'm going to shoot over to Security and Compliance. I've already got it loaded here. So the Security and Compliance Center is where most of the good stuff lives. So we're going to shoot straight into how we configure this. So under Threat Management, I'm going to take a look at the policies here. And these top 3 policies here are all about the way that we handle ATP. And just keep in mind that ATP builds on top of EOP. Okay, so there's sort of the EOP, the base level of protection that you get with Exchange Online. And on top of that, we extend it, add more depth to it as we build the advanced phishing and ATP products on top of it. So I'm going to start with safe attachments. So safe attachments is effectively detonation or sandboxing of attachments as they come through. There's a couple of things to note here. One big one here is support here across Office services, right? So this is not just email attachments. It's been expanded out to SharePoint, OneDrive, and as Jason will talk about a little bit more, Teams as well. And what that allows us to do is detonate those content, look for that, so if somebody inside the organization tries to upload malicious content to SharePoint and then share it with people, we can make sure we catch that as well. So make sure you turn this on. And then as far as policies goes, I've just created a simple policy here. Give it a second to load. Give it a name, and you get some settings in here. And really, the choices here are either to block those settings or do dynamic delivery. I personally like block. I've got my security hat on. How many, actually, while we're at it, how many people in the room are sysadmins of some description? All right, so we're all got our security hats on. So I like block. We've had instances here at Microsoft where we have the red team who try and attack, and one of the things they do is they send through email with malware. What tends to happen is people get those messages, and even though we get rid of the attachments, we protected them from the malware, they like the lures so much they try and reply and say, hey, can I give you my information somewhere else to win a surface, right? So I like block. All right. Dynamic delivery, again, gives you a preview. It does actually get rid of any of the weaponization of it, so you can use it. Definitely good for those sorts of experiences. And you can create different policies for different sets of users within the organization. Also, detonation now has really come down. I think we're in the 45, 60-second mark, pretty much for most of the detonations we run. So it's now, block is not going to add a whole bunch of delay in this process. Once you've done that, you need to apply it to a group of users. In my case, I just applied it to all the domains in my organization. I hit save, and I'm done. Okay, so now I've got safe attachments on, protecting my organization. And this is not just sort of detonating, as Abhishek said, just detonating and looking for malware. It's also taking those content that, you know, potentially is benign. If you look at the actual, it's got no macros, got nothing in it. But when you click on those links inside there, you end up being taken to a phishing site. So we're detonating not just the content, but also the links inside that content. All right. The next one that I'll walk us through is safe links. So safe links is our link wrapping, okay? It's a URL protection filter that we have. And there's two parts to this. There's sort of a default policy, right, which is for the entire organization. And in here, you can do a few things. You can obviously block URLs. So if you do find there's a URL that, for whatever reason, we're missing, you can add it in here. We support wildcards, and that will block the URL. And again, safe links, the good thing about safe links is a bunch of location agnostic and client agnostic. So it doesn't matter what client they're on. It doesn't matter how they're getting there. Because we've wrapped that link, when they click on that link, not only do we check it to make sure it's OK, we'll also detonate that link as well. All right. Things to match here, down the bottom of this is around the way that we integrate with the Office clients. So you need not necessarily get a bad link through an email, right? If I wanted to attack somebody, drop a few thumb drives around with a Word document or an Office document of some description, it's benign, it's got a link in it, people will click on that link, they're infected. By ticking this box down here, I can make sure I protect not only email coming through, but also within those Office clients. So if users start clicking on those links, we're still doing the checks and detonations in that area. You can do the same as well. This is new here for the Office clients, so the WAC browsers, etc. So really make sure you turn these things on. It's up to you whether you want to track or not, and whether you want to let users click through. Again, I've got my security hat on, so I'm not a big click-through fan. Okay, once you've done that, now we have sort of the core policy set up. Then I need to create a default policy here, or a policy that applies settings to my users. Again, we give it a name. I just called mine default. And we want to make sure we turned on here the link wrapping, okay? And then from here, we're saying use safe attachments to detonate downloadable or scan downloadable content. What we actually do here is we use a bunch of our ML models, right? So as a message comes through the system, we're looking at the message, we're looking at the URLs in those messages, and we're trying to figure out, do they look suspicious or not? Do these, is this message suspicious? Is the URL suspicious? We're also looking at the structure of the URL. Hey, the URLs of this type are generally bad, so we'll send them off for detonation. So what we do during Mailflow is we extract those URLs, we look at that, and we send those links off for detonation at that point in time. And I'm going to give you a little example. I took a few URLs this morning just to show you the way that we scale, and we're able to dig out of that particular Mailflow attachments. You can also then turn on safe links for internal. So this is really important. If you've got safe links enabled for your internal users, that lateral movement, the sending of the email inside the organization, those links are still wrapped. You're still getting the protection if somebody clicks on one of those links. So it's a great way of making sure that any lateral movement based on sort of URLs within emails is being protected. Right. And again, you can decide on whether you track clicks or not, or whether you allow click-through or not. The last thing on this page is really about saying don't detonate these URLs. That's more relevant when it's internal URLs. So internal URLs that look like they're external URLs, but are truly internal. You can add them to this list. When you add a URL in here, just keep in mind that we don't wrap it, so it doesn't have the wrapping protection, and we also don't detonate it, okay? So add URLs in here with caution. There's other work coming into the clients to improve the hover experience as well, which Jason will cover off as well. So once I've done this, I go through and I say, who does it apply to? Again, I just chose everyone in the org based on their domains. And now I'm set up for, effectively, I have a safe links policy defined for all the users in my organization. So quickly, I said I'd show you. So here's a couple of URLs I found earlier today. This URL was a bit interesting. It actually had a timer in it to try and break detonation. It said, hey, I'm wait, 15 seconds, and then it showed this page. So this is obviously an impersonation of a European brand. They're trying to get some personal information out of this. You know, they're trying to get your name, obviously, phone numbers, date of birth, all good stuff that, you know, allows me to deal with identities well. And they're clearly not from the same place. And I'm going to, just as a reference point here, I'm not making a statement here about effectiveness of any of these people or any of these partners. I just want to be able to show you the scale by which we see threats within Office 365. We get them early. The ML signals allow us to figure out what is suspicious and detonate that content. So here, just virus total gives us a good way of looking at, you know, other items. And you can see here when I checked it this morning, all of them were clear, right? Similarly, took another URL. This one's a pretty good one. It looks extremely close to our page, our login page. You know, it's enter your password. In this case, I took off the string that said, you know, what the email address was. But it's clearly a phishing page trying to grab my credentials. Last time I checked, we didn't own this particular domain. And again, when I look in here at the time that I checked this morning, nobody else was detecting it at this point, right? And again, this is not really about whether other people are more effective or less effective. This is really just showing we get so much volume of this that we're able to get these URLs early, be able to stop those activities being, you know, through safe attachments and safe links, be able to block these URLs early in the piece. Okay. So there's one more policy we have to set up, and this is really focused around the way that we deal with the BEC, the business email compromise setup. Now, there's two things in here. There's a default policy, okay? So there is a default policy. This default policy applies unilaterally to everybody inside the organization, okay? So this one, if you put any settings in here, by default, they'll come through. We're actually adding something in here. We're adding what we call an automatic mode into the default policy. What that automatic mode is going to allow us to do, particularly around the impersonation part, is figure out when we think impersonation is occurring with a very high degree of confidence and be able to alert the admin, provide some insight, being able to say, hey, you're getting domain impersonations or user impersonations, and be able to provide that to the admin to be able to say, hey, you really need to configure this policy. But it also gives you the ability to be able to, in one place, configure all of those settings. I'm just going to walk through one here I created just to, you know, you might have different policies for execs, et cetera. And we're going to take a look at this in a little bit of a backwards order. So I'm going to start at the bottom. All right. So we have a whole bunch of ML that runs within Office 365. And there's a whole bunch more. There's a set of there's a set of machine learning that runs within EOP. There's another set of machine learning that runs in ATP. What we're allowing you to do here, and I get lots of questions about what does it mean, you know, standard and aggressive and more aggressive. What does that really mean? Well, if you think about the way that machine learning works, machine learning is about probability of something being phish. So we're trying to figure out here what's the probability of this particular message being phish. Once we figure out that probability, and if you like, there's a high, medium, low, very high type setup in here, we take action, right? So depending on the strength of the signal, depends on the strength of the action. What this setting in here allows us to do is really sort of say, hey, I'm not a big fan of getting phished. So what I want you to do is take more aggressive actions at lower probability, all right? And the lower probabilities here are derived predominantly around getting it wrong, right? How much tolerance do we give our models to call something that's potentially not phish? All right. In this case, you know, the levels here are they're not, it's not linear. So the gap between 1 and 2, if you will, is less than the gap between 2 and 3, and similarly between 3 and 4. So generally, it's a good idea if you don't have a high tolerance of phish, particularly for execs, to turn up that aggressiveness. What it means is we're going to just be more aggressive on these messages. Now, as far as false positives go, so us calling wrong things phish, what we tend to find when we run in these modes and with what we found with customers is that it's more likely to call spammy or bulky or unwanted material phish, okay? So we don't generally see it calling good mail phish. We generally just see it calling more spammy type material phish. So, you know, the feedback's pretty good. In fact, Microsoft run in this way with this particular setting. And you can apply it, you know, as needed across there. All right. So let's jump into spoof. So as Abhishek said, we have a whole bunch of intelligence that runs around spoof. How many people have a demarc reject policy? Come on, there's got to be a couple. All right, it's getting better. It's usually one or two. All right, how many people have got to at least have a demarc policy, even if it's none? All right, oh yeah, we're all moving in the right direction. Okay, so it's hard, right? It's not an easy job. You've got to make sure you find all of the people who send on your behalf. You've got some random department who went out to some random third party and started sending. What we do here is, within our spoof settings, we actually learn this information. We learn the way that things are sent within the organization and the way that mail comes in. Not just internal mail, not just, from Contoso to Contoso, but also, from your partner organization into your organization. So by looking at it and learning those signals, we can then make a pretty good guess at this failed authentication, but we think it's good. It failed authentication, and we think it's really bad. Or it failed authentication, and we're not 100% sure what to do with it. So what we'll do is we're building an insight that'll give you a view into the way that that information comes through. So we can tell you, hey, this stuff is good, this stuff not good, this stuff in the middle is worth reviewing. So we can help you review what's going on within the spoof area. What you can do within the policy, of course, is decide what you want to do. Do you want to quarantine those messages, or do you want to junk? Junk being the default option here. All right. Then we get into the big one, the big policy, all right, which I personally like the best, only because I worked on it. So here we are for user impersonation. So users and domain impersonation. So really, when we say impersonation here, we're talking about lookalike, okay? We're trying to be, we're trying to look like such a, we're trying to, confuse people about what domain it really came from. So in here, you can define a list of people. And I get a lot of questions about, hey, 60 people, but I've got 500 execs. How do I put 500 people in here? I'm going to give you the answer for that today. The answer is don't put anybody in here, all right? You can put people in here. If you do put people in here, my recommendation is don't include a whole bunch of other information, okay? Just put first name, last name, and their email address, okay? Don't add, additional things like departments or titles or other things. Just their first name and their last name, okay? We'll take care of all of the other logic, and I'll walk you through that in a minute. So you can see in my example here, I've got nobody in my list, okay? And in my domain list, the same thing. I've just said, just protect the domains I own. We already know who they are. We already know how to figure out what's going on in here, and we can protect all those domains that you own. It's important here as well that you can actually add your partner domains in. So if you work, there's a lot of organizations who have two tenants, not because they wanted two tenants, but maybe because of acquisitions or other things. And they have, but they work very closely to each other. So I want to make sure that somebody doesn't impersonate, effectively a very strong partner coming into my organization. So add your partner domains in here. All right. Then we get into actions. What can you do when a message comes in? You've got two choices here around user and domain impersonation. So you've got, redirect, quarantine, etc., BCC, all the sort of standard things you can do. Same for domains. And then we've got a set of tips. All right. And to get started, unfortunately, there are millions of domains. All right? And no matter how hard I try, one domain is going to send you an email that looks like your domain. And the shorter your domain name, the more likely I'm going to call it an impersonation of your domain. All right? And this is, you can call them false positives. I like to actually call them true hits, but, they're not necessarily malicious hits. Okay? So we do have a way of overcoming that problem. You can put them into the list of trusted domains here. But it's important to note here, if you're just getting started and you're trying to figure out what's going on, and we did this at Microsoft, we left it at no action, and we turned the tips off, and then we used reporting in order to figure out who was impersonating, right? What impersonations am I seeing coming through? From that, I can figure out what my whitelist is to get started, and then I can move to a policy, all right? So, and again, you can define this. Different levels have different ways of looking at it. So, mailbox intelligence. So we've had this for a little while. All right, so mailbox intelligence is our view of each user's personal contact graph, if you will. All right. So based off the flow of mail for that particular user, in and out of that user's mailbox, we build up a graph that gives us an idea of, hey, is this a new sender? Is this, what's the strength of the relationship between this sender and this recipient? All right. So mailbox intelligence has been there for a little while. It's a really good signal for us. It really helps us sort of isolate out some of the phishing attacks, which are predominantly first time you've ever seen that particular sender sending you a message. What we've done and what we're going to enable, what I'm actually going to show for you, and what will be coming out soon, is the ability now to use that graph in order to be able to do user-based impersonation. So everybody in this room would have their own personal graph, right? And that graph then tells me the relationship. So I obviously have a strong relationship with Abhishek. We send lots of mail backwards and forwards. And if somebody actually wanted to attack, Microsoft, starts somewhere lower in the tree, they might start with me, and then move their way through. They're going to move through Abhishek and up the management train, okay? The beauty of this is nobody is ever going to add my name to the people to protect. Also, Ross Adams is a fairly common name, right? There's, enough variance in there that we're going to hit quite a few people. But my personal graph, if you were trying to send an email to Abhishek, because we have a strong relationship, it's going to tell him that this is not the Ross Adams he thinks it is. So this graph is really being built, being able to say, for every single user in the organization, I now know who are the people that need to be protected from impersonation. So this is a really powerful feature. I'm going to show you how this works. All right, in 1 minute. All right. So what you'll see as it comes through here, I'll just show you, you're going to see this enable mailbox intelligence protection. We're also doing something else with mailbox intelligence, which is how many people actually have on-premises sort of hybrid environments? That's a good portion of you. So mailbox intelligence is going to be extended for these guys as well. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to take mailbox intelligence, as long as you synchronize the object up into the directory, up into AAD, and then subsequently across to us in Exchange, what we're actually going to be able to do with that is build the same graph for these users. Even if you don't send email out through Office 365, suggest that you do, but if you don't, we can still build a graph. It takes a little longer, but we'll still build up that graph. So what does that look like? So what I'm going to do here is I have Bob. Bob is my user I'm going to attack. And I've created myself a Yahoo account. No, anybody will do. We see attacks from all sorts of people. So what I've got here is I've looked around. I know that Ross, am working with Bob and Mary within my partner organization. So what I'm trying to actually do here is I'm trying to get into Microsoft. But Microsoft has MFA and a bunch of other stuff, so it's a little hard to get into. But Bob, smaller organization, I'm going to attack them. And I'm going to try and lateral from that partner across into Microsoft. Once I can get hold of Bob and Mary, I can start to do some work. So I've done some analysis here. I figured out that Ross is talking to Bob. And I'm not really sure what they've been talking about, but I'm going to send just a fish, right? I'm really just going to throw out a line and see if they bite. Okay, there's no malicious intent in here. I'm just saying, hey, the documents you shared, can you reattach them? I couldn't get to them, okay? So I'm going to hit send on this, if I can find the button. Here we go. All right, my inbox is empty, and I'm going to have an ad. I won't make you watch that. So the speed of the internet. So this is going through. It's being checked. A few things are coming through. I'm just going to refresh my inbox here, see if we can get it to arrive. Lately, I've noticed that Yahoo Mail takes longer to get to me than I previously anticipated. This is where we have a little dance routine, usually in these sorts of presentations, while you're waiting for mail to roll through the system.
I think the benefit for not seeing the ad.
You want to see the ad, or? I should have picked somebody who actually sends it through faster. I've noticed that my Yahoo account does, I don't know why, but it takes longer for mail to get here from my Yahoo mailbox. We're going to wait for this. Just give me a second. All right. We're going to come back to it in a second. So one other thing I want to show you while we're on the subject of policies. As I said here, you can add trusted senders, of course, but as I said here, one of the things that we do in the policies is ATP is built on top of EOP. So your spam policy is actually important, right? What you want to do here is two big things that you'll want to do here. I've just got a single policy, so you can edit it. You can go through the process. One thing you want to make sure is where you've got this coming through, there's no point putting fish in the junk folder. Just move that stuff out. So change your fish policy to quarantine. Put it out of quarantine. That's an admin-only quarantine. Then you move that out of the equation. The second thing you want to try and do here is make sure your allow lists are as clean and lean as possible. All right. Lots of times we see people get phished because they've allowed the information or allowed that content into the domain. So make sure you use this with caution. If you're adding something to the allow list purely because of spoof, come down here, go into the spoof intelligence reports. The spoof intelligence reports allow you to then be able to say, hey, this particular message or this particular sender is spoof, right? And allow or deny that message as it comes through. All right, come on, do it. I'm going to go to the videotape then. Here's one I had earlier. So here's one that I had earlier that came through, okay? And you'll see it's the same sender once this loads up. Like a bunny. There it goes. Contact details, spinning wheels. All right. So what we can see here is as this message came through, it was sent from my Yahoo address. It's come into Bob, okay, Bob Jones in this case. And, in this case, I was asking for the contact details or the contract details, okay? And in this case, we got the tip on it saying it was, an impersonation. People often ask me why we do the email address in uppercase. Does anybody want to guess? No? Okay. We do, give it to me.
For cases like I's and L's.
Correct. So the answer to the question is for cases like I's and L's. It's also for the Greek alphabet and those sorts of things, lowercase O's. All ASCII characters have an equivalent uppercase. A lot of the other ones don't. So they look weird when you actually uppercase it. You get this sort of camel casing coming through. All right. Come on, where's my mail when I need it? Still not here. Okay. So lastly, and I'm not going to cover a whole bunch of this, there's a really good session on the threat intelligence work. It's the BRK4004 that Girish is running tomorrow, correct? Yep. That'll walk through this. But what you can get from that is a really good view of the phish that's coming into your organization. You can also run reports, and no pun of a lie, it's actually called the TPS report, the Threat Protection Status Report. Where are your TPS reports? So in here, you can get a good breakdown. In here, what you can do, just quickly, we've enhanced this a little bit lately. What you can actually do now is come into here and see email phish, but what it'll give is you a good breakdown of actually what caused the phish. So whether it was spoof, whether it was spoof or user impersonation, domain impersonation, those sorts of things. And you can get the details of those messages. You can get this email report sent out to you every day. All right. So effectively what we've done in the last little bit here is we've set up ATP. All right, so ATP is completely set up at this point. There isn't, there's no more that you need to worry about. You've got safe links, detonating content as you come through. You've got safe attachments protecting not just from malware, but from phish, non-malicious content with bad URLs. So, and obviously my anti-phishing impersonation coming through as well. I'm going to check it one more time, and if it's still not, oh, there it is. The documents just took a while. Hooray! I'm going to blame somebody for that. I'm not sure who, but somebody. Demogod's not shining on me. But you can see here as it comes through. So there was I didn't define my list. I didn't define anything in here. There was nothing defined around, protect Ross from impersonation. This is purely based on the fact that I had set up an established relationship with Bob. So this is really where we think the power of this comes in, that you can turn impersonation on with 2 clicks and you're ready to roll. I'm going to hand it back to Abhishek to wrap this up.
All right, thank you, Ross. Great set of demos. So hopefully what we showed through this 45 minutes is how ATP can come together and help you this attack chain that we painted earlier. If you look at the capabilities we just announced, or the features that we just demoed across spoof, impersonation, our content detonation across both URLs and attachments, our ability to do safe links both at time of click and also Zap. We did not demo Zap today, but Zap's our ability to go back in time and remove mailboxes, emails from your mailboxes, and also the safety tips features that Ross demoed. And if you combine that with the internal safe links capabilities, and also the features that AD announced with multi-factor authentication and passwordless, it helps you kind of disrupt this chain from preventing an attack into your organization, preventing those attacks from being exploited, or preventing the attacker from being able to lateral inside your organization. And if you combine that with other capabilities inside Office 365, namely Office 365 Threat Intelligence, you will be also able to, if a breach happens, be able to quickly detect and remediate against that. So Girish and team will give you a detailed talk on that tomorrow. That's BRK4004 at 10:15. And then if you layer on top of that the entire Microsoft threat protection that I painted earlier, our capabilities in Windows, capabilities in identity, in Azure, with the capabilities in Office 365, you're able to detect, prevent, detect, and respond against this entire kill chain. So with that, we have about 4 minutes left. Let's open it up for Q&A.
So the question is, you've seen other Office 365 tenants effectively either set up for and come in and attack. So internal abuse is something that we obviously have a very strong set of people looking at, right? It's something that, what they're trying to do is effectively sit inside the realm of where they are and how they come through. So this is something that actually I own, actually solving the problem of. So internal abuse is difficult. We have to make sure we obviously have layers of, making sure that trials come through the right way, shutting them down quickly. We also limit mail. We also limit the amount of outbound messages they can send. And there's a whole bunch of work going on in order to tighten that through as much as possible and really sort of make that, an undesirable set of events for them to go through. But it is a challenge, as Abhishek said. They're trying to use good infrastructure to try and hide. But we're getting better and better at detecting this, and we're getting tighter and tighter on our controls around them.
Yeah, so to add to that, we're also, as I mentioned, we're doing a lot of partnership with our internal teams. So what does AD already know about those accounts, right? So there's two attack vectors we see. One is a trial abuse, where somebody comes in, signs up for Office 365 somewhere else, and they start to just send a lot of spam and phish as well. We also see an account that gets compromised in some other tenant, and then that compromised account being used to send phish mail. So we fully understand that attack vector. So the capabilities we talked about, if you look at safe links, if you look at detonation, they will be effective against those vectors as well. Additionally, as I mentioned, we're doing a lot of partnership with Active Directory and seeing what signal did they have about that user as the mail was coming out, and can we use them in real time. So not that the problem's solved, but we are fully aware of it. A lot of investigation and data analysis going on in the back end to build more on top of that.
So we'll start over here and then go over. Which way? Here first.
1 and 1.
1, 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm use a transport rule to set SCL -1 or 9 to trust mail domain or block mail domain. Which is better solution? That's transport rule or security center?
So the question around sort of setting SCL to -1, whether you have a domain allow or an ETR setting SCL, like skip spam filtering, the problem with those two approaches is what you're doing is you're telling us this message is good. So if you are going to do an ETR and you are going to sort of skip filtering for that particular domain or that particular sender, don't just skip that domain or that sender. You need to make sure that you skip the domain or that sender only when they come from known infrastructure, right? But you are telling us to let that message into the inbox. What we'd prefer to do is really focus in if you're doing that because the system isn't reporting the message correctly, or you're doing it because it's failing authentication, then use the spoof reports to be able to say, spoof from this guy to these people is okay. What that skips is only the spoofing section of the stack. It doesn't skip all of the other areas of the stack. So it's really important to try and limit how many times you say skip authentication. Skip filtering. We see that as a major, we'll provide insights to that. We'll do a whole bunch of things to try and tell you, hey, you're letting phish into the system because of these rules. But it's just good practice. Just simply don't add it in. If you are seeing false positives, like we're calling something spam when it shouldn't be called spam, or we're calling it phish when it shouldn't, use the report message plugin, report that back to us, and we can get the information and fix that through. We have a whole bunch of people looking at it, trying to fix that up. Okay.
Thanks.
I've got a couple, actually. One, you mentioned on that mailbox intelligence is coming for hybrid.
Yep.
Is there a roadmap for that? As to
Yeah, so basically, what we try and do here is give you a, obviously you don't want to announce something and then, 6 months. So the goal is to try and have that done sort of towards the end of this year. It might bleed a little into the new year, but the goal is, towards the end of this year to have that hybrid set up and to have mailbox intelligence fully baked for this graph experience.
Okay. And then the other one is, in the anti-phishing, there's a great feature of all the domains I own.
Yep.
But in safe links and safe attachments, if I add a domain later, after I've set that up, I have to remember to go back in and add that domain back in there.
That is correct. Yes, there's no concept of a default policy today. It's good feedback.
Okay.
We've talked about it a little bit internally. We have a couple of people in the room that will have heard the answer. Yeah. So yeah, we can take that as good feedback.
For somebody like me, for my company, I have 101 domains.
Yep.
And we add domains, we buy new companies and whatnot.
Yeah.
So having that ability would be wonderful.
Okay.
Very good feedback. Very good
feedback.
Two questions. The block policy, are there scenarios where you could have a legitimate business user send you an email and for whatever reason, the file attachment, whatever might have been marked as malicious, and then you've set the policy as block, which says,
yep,
block this and future emails. So question number one is there a way to remediate that for that particular sender for your organization?
So this is are you talking about block sender within the spam policy, or are you talking about we block the attachment?
The block replace.
Okay.
Safe attachment.
Yeah, so in safe attachments, it's actually based on, we don't care about the sender, we care about the content. So if we think something is malicious, we'll quarantine that object, all right? If, we get that wrong for some reason, and, what we find is that some organizations do some wacky things with macros, and we often say, it doesn't seem very right. There is a report process through that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we won't accept mail from that user in the future. It simply means that if you send an attachment, that same attachment, or if you send something similar to that, we will block those.
Okay, I mean, is that a situation where we would just contact Premier Support to get...
Yeah, you can roll it through there. There's also a report process to be able to tell us, hey, we think you're getting this wrong.
Okay, and my second question, mailbox intelligence, it's an on-off switch there.
Yep.
Is there any good reason that we would want to disable it?
It's a fantastic question. Any good reason to disable mailbox intelligence? No.
Okay.
In fact, even if you disable it, we continue to run it. We continue to run it because it's actually a really strong signal that we use throughout the system. So mailbox intelligence, the only reason you might turn it off is to say, I don't want you to ever rescue. So for example, Abhishek might send me mail all the time, right? So Abhishek and I have a strong relationship. But so when Abhishek sends me a message, if I happen to know another Abhishek that I have a strong relationship with, it'll say, that's all right. This is not impersonation because, Abhishek I know, and I know another Abhishek. If I turn mailbox intelligence off, what it's going to do is it's going to say, well, Abhishek sent you a mail, and you already know an Abhishek, therefore it doesn't take any of the relationship into consideration, therefore it's impersonation. So the long answer is no. And even if you do, we still use it under the hood. But the answer, yeah, there's no good reason to turn it off.
Thank you.
So my question is, we've had Exchange Online Protection for years, and we've configured rules and built up block and allow senders, and I noticed the Advanced Threat Protection has similar things in here. Is it always going to be like a standalone console, or are they eventually planning on merging it over so it's one system to manage?
So it is one system. So if you go into Security and Compliance Center, is that what you're referring to? It covers both your EOP settings and your ATP settings. So the Exchange Admin Center is kind of where the old settings were, but everything you can do inside EAC from a security perspective, from an EOP anti-spam policy, anti-phish ATP policy, you can do it in SCC. So our guidance is whether you're managing EOP or whether you're managing ATP, use Security and Compliance Center. That's the new center for doing all security management.
And as far as sort of the policies go, there are, if you like, the anti-spam policy is kind of like a big hammer, right? It says skip filtering for this domain or block this domain, right? Within each of the other policies, there's allows and denies. Those allows and denies are specific to those sets of policies. So if you add a domain, or a user to the allowed list for impersonation, we're just saying skip impersonation checks. If you go into the spoof policy and say, oh, allow spoof from this sender, we're just skipping the spoofing section. So if they're sending malicious content through, all the ML models, detonation, everything else will continue to run on those objects. So it's a much finer grain of granularity to deal with. And we're getting long over time, but we'll take more questions because they haven't kicked us out yet.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of attacks where they will include an exceptionally long domain. It's like they're trying to break the ATP scan by overflowing it or just...
Yeah, we see that as well. Generally, we have a bunch of stuff where we deal with domains in different ways. So non-existent domains, right? There's a bunch of impersonation stuff that's been built around, as Abhishek sort of showed, the brand impersonation. So, having very long domains in there, we see them insert additional characters in there. It's actually a really good signal. So
or UTF encode, or they'll base encode or UTF encode the from address. So yeah, so we see those varieties. So this multi-layer answer. So we do try to be as close to the RFC standards for the from address as possible, but we know that there's lots of good mail with bad behavior out there, so we have to kind of not go all the way. That's one. As Ross added, we are doing a lot of detections both on the spoofing side. So if you see if that's like if the domain is a spoof, we'll go detect the spoof filter will catch it. If it's an impersonation, the impersonation filter will catch it. And if we didn't catch it on the sender behavior, we'll catch it on the content, both with the ML model and then with link detonation, etc. So I would love to be able to say if everybody was to move to an RSC compliant standard, we would love to do that. Sorry, but that's kind of the FNFP challenge that we face with. It's not that, yeah, so if there's other good ideas how we can deal with it, happy to send us a piece of mail, we'll look into that.
Thank you. Yeah. How about the links which are embedded in an image are protected by the safe links?
So this is, yeah, we see this. You basically got looks like text in the message, but it's basically an image. Yeah. So that doesn't matter to us. We extract the URLs from that as well. We look at those URLs. We send them off for detonation. In fact, just an image inside an email is really quite a suspicious signal. It's something that we tend to, our ML models get a little jumpy about.
And how about the links in a text email, not an HTML email?
So within a text email, it's a little trickier. We do extract them, we send it for detonation. The problem around that is just wrapping, and they explode when we wrap those links, right? So we are doing work with the Outlook team, just like we've done with the Office team, so that anything, Outlook has a tendency to make all sorts of things clickable. You can control it within the client, right, to be able to say, hey, don't make hyperlinks clickable. But what we are doing is a bunch of work there with the Outlook team in order to be able to say, hey, if you click on anything within Outlook, Outlook will call an API and allow us then to be able to come back and check it. Okay, and more in Jason's session, I think William's nodding his head.
So we'll probably take the question on the side here so that the next speaker can get set up.
Yes.
That's okay. We'll continue to take questions on the side.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Please fill the eval.